Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new then hi, I'm Emma and I'm really glad to have you here. So today's video is going to be 13 under the water ocean doodles that you can draw for your bullet journal or for your art journal or however you want to use them. So they're just 13 easy to draw doodles. So we're only using 3 tools today. So we're using a trusty 2B pencil, a Pigma Micron fine liner in 01, which is a 0.25mm line, so you can use any fine liner that you have, it doesn't have to be Pigma Micron, a rubber, and I'm working on white Rhodia paper, so you can do this on any paper or in your bullet journal, however you want to do this. So let's get cracking and have less talking, more drawing. So our first one is going to be a starfish. So I'm going to start off in pencil so that I can erase my lines after. And we're going to do a 5-pointed star, but instead of the points being really sharp, I want to keep them more rounded. So the points being the points on the star, like this, okay? Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more actually. Yeah, right. Okay. Now I'm going to take out the middle lines, just roughly, just so we're left with that star shape. And now we're going to ink it in. So keeping those points rounded, and also I'm rounding off those inner parts there. I don't want those pointy either. So I'm going to go in and not go right into the corners like I have done with the pencil. So round those off. And normally I would move my paper as I was drawing, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, so I'm trying to draw as straight as possible. So there we go, there's our star shape. Now, where these inner corner pieces are here, I'm going to add some stippling so that it gives the starfish a bit of form. So, placing some dots there so you can see right where I'm talking about. So, from sort of halfway down each of the starfish's leg, in a shape like that. And then I'm just going to add bits of stippling to make him look a little bit more 3D. So, which is more dots closer to the edge and less dots getting lighter towards the middle. So I'm going to do all 5 parts. Like that. So you can see our starfish is already starting to build up some form. And if you want to make it a bit bigger in an area, you can do. Right, now to add some decoration to the starfish, I'm just going to be using a series of different size circles in very random placements. And the odd few dots here and there. It just gives a lovely accent to underwater doodles using the circles. It almost looks like little barnacles. And there we go, there's our first underwater doodle, a lovely little starfish. Okay, so we're going to move on. Let's move the paper over. And the next thing we are going to do is some coral. So we're going to do tubular coral, which is probably my favourite coral. And it's very, very simple to do. So we're going to start off drawing some straw shapes. Now the lines do not need to be straight at all. In fact, it's better if they're slightly wiggly. And then we're going to have another one next to it, but it's going to be a shorter tube. Another one the other side, which is going to be an even shorter one. And then we'll have a sort of curved one coming out from this side. And notice I haven't put the top lines on these yet. So there's our tubes, just a series of lines. Now for the tops, we're going to be so if you do a half moon shape here, and then another half moon shape on the top. And on the inside, you're going to do exactly the same shape. And again here, but this one is going behind the first one, so we want to miss off the corner there, like I have done. And the same here, it's going behind, so we want to leave a little gap. And we're going to draw our inside bits. Now on this one, we're going to be able to see all of it because it's not behind. Okay, so there are our tubes. At the bottom, we're going to do a rock, or two rather. So these are literally wiggly shapes, really, really simple. So they're going to be, the tubes are sat behind the rocks here, and we'll add a few more smaller rocks just for decoration. You can add as many as you like that. Now we're going to go ahead and ink it in and add the detail. So I'm going to start with my rocks actually. So just lining all those little rocks and pebbles. And now our tubes. Again, definitely not straight lines, just nice, sort of wiggly, irregular lines. And leaving that top opening till last. Now when I do the centre, I'm going to colour the whole of that centre in black there. And then you can see that the middles are open. So that it is just like a straw or a tube. Like that. Now we're going to add the detail. So we're going to start with this centre one, and I am going to flick fine lines of varying sizes all the way down the tubes, and I'm sort of curving it slightly, so I'm starting on that line and flicking it round, and that just keeps the form of the shape of the tube, so it makes it look more rounded than just having straight lines. So just flicking the pen like that, and then we're going to do the same on the others. So it's important to try and get as close to that line as you can, and just to remember to flick, and just to give your tubes more shape. Now on this curved one over here, I've got to move my paper to be able to draw. You need to remember to, when you're flicking, to go with the shape of the tube, because you're going to change direction as the tube straightens out down the bottom. It's not a big change, but it's a little direction change. So you can see that. So we're curving round and then it'll end up going straight. And on this one, we're going to do the lines on this outside, because this one is sitting behind the first one. So your direction of flicks will change, like that. Now we're going to add some shadow to show that these are behind the others. And to do that, again, I'm using little lines, but I'm using them very short, more uniform and the same length, and keeping them much closer together, like that. And then I'm going to darken up from the top of this tube here and going down. I'm just going to darken up the outer edge of that tube so that it gives it some shadow. And the same with this one. We're going to start where these two lines meet, where this one goes behind. So little tiny lines like that. And again, let's darken up that area there. And with this one, we're going to do the opposite side, because we want to show the shadow of this one sitting behind the tall one, like that. And again, just darken up and re-go over that line. If you feel like you want to make any darker, you can do. And there is our tubular coral. No, it's not, because I haven't done this one. So we're going to do the little lines on the other side on this one as well. There's our tubular coral. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of detail to the rocks. I keep this as minimal as possible. Literally just drawing a few squiggly lines around the bottom just to show some shape. Like that. And then maybe a few clusters of dots where you feel that it needs something. We just want to show it's a rock, we don't want to go overboard, like that. And the smaller the rocks get, the less detail you're going to have in them. There we go, so there's our first coral. Okay, so next one we're going to do another different coral, and I'm just going to go for this one with pen because this one's really simple to draw. So we're going to do our rock again first. I've sort of this shape. I'm going to leave the other sides now. So this one, again, the lines haven't got to be perfect, they can be wiggly, and we're just bringing it up and creating random branches, wiggly branches, wherever we feel like. And that is basically the shape. Then we're going to do another one coming out. This branch is going to go behind, so I'm going to stop at that line and continue through, stop again and back through. It's almost like a cactus sort of shape, this one. And that is it. So we're going to just add a little bit of detail, and to do that I'm going to really lightly skim my pen over the page and just do little dots and very fine lines, just following the shape of those branches. And again on the other one. And when you skim your pen across the page, it makes it really easy to keep those lines nice and fine, and you don't draw a continuous line, you're hitting and missing. So it's nice and simple. So where this branch is in front of this one, I am going to add a few little dots here just to show that that's in the background and that this one is in the foreground. like that. And again, the same sort of markings on our rock at the bottom. Like that. And we'll just do another couple of pebbles because he looks a little bit lonely. And there we go, there is our next coral. Right, so there's a starfish and 2 corals so far, so let's move on to something else now. Now we're going to do a crab. So let's see if I can straighten my page up a little bit more. It's alright, I find it very, very difficult to draw with a straight page. It has to be on the side for me. So our crab, we'll go back to pencil, and our crab starts off with an oval. Like that. And then we're going to do his legs. So his legs are going to come out at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And over here, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So it's sort of starting to look like a little bit of a spider. So now that we've got those lines, we're going to connect them up and make the top part of his legs. And again on the other side. And then the bottom of his legs from right at the end, because they always come in sections, these are going to be pointy. So the legs behind the points will end up in the background, sort of behind the leg in front, so you don't need to worry about getting the point in there. Some of them may not end up like that, some of them will. So there's his legs. Now we're going to do 2 eyes, so we're going to do 2 sticks either side coming out, and there's just going to be a little circle on top of either of those sticks there, and in between that leg and the eye we're going to do another little rectangle, then a bit of a fatter, shorter one on the top. And now we're going to draw an egg shape, but the egg isn't going to completely meet. It's going to come like that. And we're going to copy that on the other side. So this is my shorter end, taller end there. Okay, and now we're going to do jaggedy lines to make his pincers. So, like that. Okay, and now we're going to ink him in to add his detail. So there's his body. Each of his eyes, and in the centre of his eyes I'm going to add a black dot, leaving a tiny little white dot in the centre. And there's little pincers. And start on his legs. I don't know whether it's been hot where you are, but we've had a real heat wave the last few weeks, and finally we have a cooler day today, and it's wonderful. It has been so hot, and we're not used to that, us Brits, I tell you. I don't think I've ever had a summer this hot in England before. Right, so there's his body. Now we're going to give him a little bit of a wiggly mouth. And we're going to start adding some little bits of detail to him. And just like we did with the starfish, it's just going to be little circles with dots around them. It keeps the style of your doodles consistent when you use the same detail. so you know that they've all sort of come from the same person. There's his body ones, and now we're just going to add a couple of little dots on every section of his legs where the joins are. So coming off from his body and here. Just adds a bit more depth to him. And then a few little dots around the edges of his pincers. There we go, there's our crab. Now when he's completely dry, so sort of after at least 15 minutes, well with all of the drawings, I'll leave them for 15 minutes and then I will go in with my rubber and get rid of the lines. Okay, so next we're going to draw some shells. So the first one we're going to do, we'll go with our pencil again, is a sort of fan-shaped shell. So we're going to start off with a V shape, and then we're going to scallop the edges, coming around like that. Now from every dip of that scallop, we're going to draw a line back to the centre so that we end up with our segments from the shell, like that. And then we're going to do a little triangle at the bottom of either side. And now we're going to ink that in. So coming down from our V. And I've made a little sort of notch in there, and that I'm just going to do in black and fill it in. And then go in with our scallops. And drawing in the lines for our segments. Like that. And now, because we've got that scallop, I'm going to do another just underneath. And then another right up close. So we're copying that line, like that. And then that gives us a pattern in our shell. And then again, I'm just going to add a few dots, just a little few, down the bottom of each of the segments. Just there, like that, and a couple around the bottom of the bow. And there's our first shell. So our second shell is going to be a cone shell. I'm just dropping the lid of my pen there. Are we back? Yes, we're back. Right, so the second shell, as I said, is going to be a cone-shaped shell. So I'm going to start off just with a circle shape. Now, at the bottom of that circle, I'm going to bring it out and create sort of a hook shape and following it round. And from here, we're going to draw a series of sort of C shapes that join the top and the bottom. And these C shapes, well, backward C shapes, are going to go smaller every time we draw one. Until we end up with a tiny one at the end. So let's ink out our outline. I absolutely love under the sea themes, ocean, beach themes. Like that. Now at the top, I'm going to do some little lines and dots all the way down in a line, just to show where a bit of pattern would be. Like that. And at the bottom of the shell, again, from the inside, with that join, that little corner there, just a few dots, just to darken up the bottom and show some shadow. So that's where the shell's lying. And do that in each little section. Like that. Now this bit, the inside, I'm going to do some cross hatching. So just some lines that way and then taking them back across the other way. And going over again. So you've got a darker area and a lighter area where the shell goes in. And then you could of course add some patterns on here if you want, so you could add some little lines. Now, like that. And there's our second shell. Okay, so moving on from the shell, let's do another ocean creature. Let's go over here and we'll go in pencil again, and we're going to do an octopus now. So we're going to start off with an upside down egg shape, but again not joining it at the top. Excuse me. So that's his head, and we're going to take our first tentacle from that side and up. Let's move this. And then we're going to do the same, the other side, not completely symmetrical, so don't worry about that. And then we're going to do another leg coming from here, leg, tentacle, and another one down, matching, like that. Then we're going to take two behind him, so we're going to do one coming out right from this join here, almost looks like he's waving, and another one over here, like that. And then we're going to do one coming from here and one coming from here. So one there, and one there. Kind of looks like a spider, actually. So let's start inking him in. I'll just pull you out a bit so you can see him a bit better. There we go. Get him all done. You have to let me know in the comments below if you prefer me talking you through the drawings and the doodles, or if you would prefer them to be time-lapsed and me not saying anything and just listening to music. So I'm not bothered either way. I enjoy doing talking videos. I do like to explain what I'm doing, but I don't mind just doing time-lapse as well. So yeah, so leave me a comment, let me know which you prefer, which is the most helpful. And the other thing, of course, is my videos that have talking in them where I'm explaining, they're always going to be longer than a time-lapse video. So if you're someone that likes short videos, then mine probably aren't the ones for you, because I do tend to go on the longer scale. Right, so there's his body. Let's give him some eyes, and we'll have sort of long oval eyes, like that. And then his pupils in the middle. And then we're going to add detail to him, so same principles as all the other creatures, details just circles and dots. We can get away with some bigger circles with Mr. Octopus because he's on a larger scale. Okay, so that's that bit. Then we're going to actually bring some of this down the legs. Now, the legs that are at the front, I'm going to detail with the circles just a little bit, not too much. Just a few here and there. And the last one. And then the legs behind, we're going to add some suckers. So to do that, I'm drawing a squashed oval and then another oval inside it, but darkening the centre up of that. Like that. And the last one. There we go, and so that is a little octopus done. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do, let's move down, is a little message in a bottle. So we're going to go back to the pencil again, and we're going to draw just a little line which denotes sort of a bed of sand. Now the bottom of your bottle is an oval shape, like that. And then we're going to come off with two lines for the sides of the bottle, bringing those in to the neck, and then another, and then the ring around for the top of the bottle, and then we're going to draw a cork coming out of the top, and then we're going to draw another line down with a few pebbles so it's sitting on the sand there, like that. Now for the message, we're going to draw a spiral like that, just a tiny little spiral. Let's see if you can see that. No, wrong way. Okay, yep, so that tiny little spiral. Now coming from that side, we're going to come in, and coming from that side, we're going to come in. And then we're going to go back out again, round, and in, sort of like an hourglass shape. And then in the middle, we're going to have a bow holding it together. Now on the edge of that coil right there, I'm going to draw a line down as well, so it shows that it's all curled up, like that. And then we're just going to ink that in. If you find any of the shapes difficult to draw, it's always best to go in pencil first. But remember that doodles are doodles, they're not meant to be perfection, they're not meant to be realistic, they are doodles. And it's lovely to have a bit of character, and that shows your own style. So let's do now on the cork. I'm just going to add some dots to make it look like a cork, and don't forget that cork is going to pop inside the bottle as well, so I'm going to do a line there just to show that my cork's inside. And that's it, that's the message in a bottle. Okay, so moving to the bottom of the page now, and I'm going to zoom you out because this is a long doodle. Not long in time, long in length. So we're going to do some waves now. So our waves are going to come across in a line, and we're going to take it up into a peak, and we're going to bring that peak round, almost like a creepy hand coming out in that sort of shape, and that's the surf on the top of the wave. And then we're going to curve so that we're back to this position, ready to take it up and follow the wave again. And do exactly the same sort of thing. And curve. So if you wanted to take it up again, you can do a series of these and they can just keep going and going. Now, from about halfway through the surf, we're going to bring it down, follow that line, and join there. And again with this one, bring it down, follow the line, and draw. Like that. So we're going to ink that in. And onto these bits. Like that. Now, we're going to draw a series of lines that follow the curve of this, that will show the underside of the wave. You can go from either end. You may find one end easier than the other to come from, and it's just the same curve pattern that you've already drawn, like that. Then to add some detail, we're going to again stipple underneath here in each of these little sections, adding the little dots, and that makes the surf appear whiter and the underside of the wave appear darker. And it also shows that this is on the top, the surf's on the top, and that this part of the wave is underneath. Like that. So it stands out more now. Add a few down here as well, just in each little section. And then to the top of the wave, I'm going to do a similar sort of thing as I did with the rocks. Just add in a few little details like that. And then we're going to draw some little sprays of water coming off. Some little water droplets. Like that. And we do exactly the same to the other side. And stipple that underside. And you can make this as dark as you like, bring it down as far as you like, or as little as you like. There we go. And that is our wave doodle. Okay, so on to the next piece of paper. I think we've got about 4 to go now. Let's put that over there. Okay, so now we're going to do a fish. Because what underwater scene would be complete without a fish? Okay. So for our fish, we're going to draw a big curve, like a mountain type shape, like that. Let's go closer because you're not going to see what I'm doing here. Okay. Then we're going to draw 2 little bumps there, and those are going to be the lips of the fish. And we're going to copy that curve, belly, and bring it up, leaving a gap at the end. Now I'm going to draw 2 tiny little triangles there, just for some detail, and from just above them I'm going to come out and up with a wavy line for the back fin. Now on the face here we're going to put a curve and the fish's eye, and then we're going to do a little curve here, another little triangle shape, for his body fin. Now from right above where we put that face curve, we're going to come up and over and do his top fin, and directly opposite we're going to do a small bottom fin. Then we're going to ink him in. Like that, and then we're going to start adding his detail. So I'm going to do him 3 little stripes on his back, so they're just again triangle shapes, narrow triangles. I'm going to put in a black dot in the centre of his eye, add a few little dots here and there, mainly to the underside to denote that this is his belly. This is a darker shadowier area, and then on his fins I'm just going to do short little lines like we did with the coral, just sort of following the shape like that. And again with this one, like that. And I'm going to add another few dots under here. And above here, and then we're going to add in some little bubbles of varying sizes, so literally just little circles. And for the bigger circles I'm just going to put, oh you can't see the bigger circle, do apologise. So for the bigger circles I'm just going to put a little curve in. Like that. And there's our fish. Okay, and I'm going to zoom us back out a little bit again now. Let's move over. Now I'm going to do a treasure chest over here. So For your treasure chest, you may find it easier if you are doing this in your bullet journal and you've got a dot grid or a ruled or a graph paper in your journal. You may find this easier in there because you've got a guide. So first of all, we're going to do our sand that our treasure chest is going to lie on. So we're going to have, let's see if I can get this as straight as possible for you so you can see it. So of course your grid will show you where you can draw your line coming up. So decide how wide you want your treasure chest to be. And then it's got a curved top. Now the curve will be easier if you're on a grid paper or a graph paper because you'll be able to use your dots for reference and see how wide your curve needs to be. So mine isn't quite enough there, and then we're going to curve it back down and bring the line down for the back of the chest. Now where that starts to curve, that's where my lid is going to be. So it's going to be a straight line across the front and it's going to be slanted on this side. And this is the piece of leather that goes around the chest. Now we're going to want that curve repeated again in the middle because this is the piece of leather that's coming over the chest. Like that. And then we're going to have another bit of sand. And so you can see it's sitting in a bed now. So we'll start inking it in and adding the detail. And don't ever worry about perfect straight lines. Okay, now we're going to put a little square in the middle where the lock would be, and we're going to put some little studs through the leather. Like that. And we're just going to do some edging around the box. And another bit of stippling just to show that the box, the bottom part of the box is in shadow where it's sat behind the sand. And down here as well. Now if you wanted to, you could draw your lid open and add some coins in and some jewels coming out. There we go, there's simple treasure chest. Okay, and for our last but one, we're going to have a jellyfish. So I'm just going to go straight in with my pen for this one. So jellyfish has a domed shape top, and then he's going to come out and scallop on the underside like a strange flying saucer shape. Then we're going to start adding his tentacles. So you can have these as long or as short as you like, and as many or as few as you like. I don't like to have too many and have it sort of overcrowded. And these are very wavy lines again. Now we're going to do some from the back, but they will cut through the others, so they're going to be behind them, so don't forget to cut those lines when it meets another tentacle. Like that, and exactly the same for the detail for the jellyfish, just small circles and dots, keeping the continuity. I mean, you can go as mad as you like with this. I just like to add a few. And there's the jellyfish. And so, last of all, our last doodle, we're going to do a stingray. So, Stingray's head is in essence a triangle shape. Again, I'm not going to make those corners of the triangle pointy, I want them rounded. And we're not, let's see, so I've gone wrong here. We are not going to join the triangle shape up. We're going to leave this bit here for his tail to come down. So he's going to have a wiggly tail, which starts thicker at the top and makes its way thinner to the bottom. And then at the bottom, we're going to have another triangle where his pointy tail is. So we'll ink him in. And the purpose of drawing it in pencil first is simply so that if you don't like your shape or you've gone wrong, you can just erase it. If you feel confident going straight in with your pen, then that's great, carry on. Right, so Stingray's eyes are quite far apart, so I'm going to do them on either side of his head. And if you ever looked at a stingray from underneath, they actually look like they're smiling. So we're going to give him a nice grinning face. Looks a bit like a ghosty. And then just add some detail. Like that. Now down the middle of his tail, I'm going to follow the line, barely touching the page and just skimming. And then I'm just going to add some dots again to his tail, just to the points. Like that. And that is it, that's our stingray. Okay, so let's zoom you back out now. No, wrong way. Let's take it back out, and then we'll take the sheet out. And so there are all our 13 doodles. No, they're not, they're almost there. All our 13 doodles side by side. So I'm going to show you now, I made a sample page in my bullet journal just so I can show you how you can incorporate these into a scene for your bullet journal if you want to. So let's move these out of the way. And here we go. So as you can see, I've got the majority of those doodles in there. So we've got both our corals, our shells, message in a bottle, starfish, fish, crab, treasure chest, waves, and other creatures. And then of course you can go and add colour to these in any way that you want to, coloured pencils, brush pens, whatever you want. But that's just one way that you can use them to make a lovely scene in your bullet journal. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please give it a like and subscribe down below, and that lets me know that you like my videos and you want to see more. And also please don't forget to hit that little bell button, because that will notify you of the next time that I upload a video. So if you have any other themes that you'd like to see, we can do a series of doodles from those. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.